Alright, now I figured it would be a good idea to walk you through the actual creation of a text-to-image workflow, instead of using the default loadout. So, we start off just about every workflow with a load checkpoint node, so let's do that. Double-click on your workspace and start to search for load checkpoint. You won't have to finish typing because it'll autofill right here, so click that, load checkpoint. And we're going to use the one that's already loaded in by default. It's called Absolute Reality LCM. You can use any old Stable Diffusion 1.5 model for this example though. Next, we're going to need to drag out our model into the Ksampler. So click and drag that out, release, and then search for Ksampler. It should be one of the first ones here. And again, this is where all the magic happens, so to speak. This is where the program denoises your latent image into pixel space where you can actually see it. Next, we're going to need our positive and negative prompts. So go back to load checkpoint, click and drag out from the clip output, release on your workspace, and search for the clip text encode prompt. We're going to need two of these though, because there's a positive and a negative prompt. So hold Alt on your keyboard, click on the node, and then drag away to duplicate it really easily. Just saves you some time. This down here will be our negative prompt. So drag that into the load checkpoint because it's going to need to connect to both our positive and negative. And then lastly for these, we'll need to plug them into our Ksampler. So start with the positive and then drag in the negative. Cool, now we're almost complete. We're just going to need an empty latent image and a decode node. So let's start with the latent image. Click and drag out from latent image, release on your workspace, and then search for empty latent image. Again, it should be one of the first results, so you won't have to type it. Click on that, put it in a good spot. I think that looks good. And we're just going to leave it at 512 by 512. That's a pretty good default loadout for the resolution. Now, right before we can start generating anything, we need to actually decode the results. So drag out from the latent output of Ksampler, release on your workspace, and find the VAE Decode node right there. Perfect. And that's going to also need an actual VAE model to do its thing. So click and drag that out and drag it on over into your load checkpoint, because that's usually where the VAE model comes from. Alternatively, you can load VAE separately with a node of its own. See? But we're not going to do that in this example. Now with our VAE Decode node, we're going to output the image into a preview image node. Click and drag out, put that right on there. And lastly, let's type something for our positive prompt. Copy orange. All right, let's see what happens. Go ahead and click Q prompt on the right. It'll do its thing. And beautiful, we have indeed a happy image, just to denote the success of our workflow. So yeah, that's basically it, you guys. You just built your very first workflow from scratch, which is a lot more fun than just loading out the default as is.